going to show you how to wire up a frame. Just got a screw into an old table, nothing high tech here. Start simply by getting two nails. Make sure that they're not going to go through there, they need to be short. First thing we're going to do is put one nail in just to the side of that. I don't want to put it over the hole because when my wire's in there and the nail goes over it, it'll cut the wire. So it's just going to be to the side. Doesn't matter that side or that side. Put it in, I don't know, that far will do. Now we need to do another one at the top hole here. Same scenario. Put it roughly in the centre of the side. Now some people use a thing called ringlets, eye holes that go in there. You can if you want. That stops the wire from pulling through the wood. I'm going to do a simple version, just put a staple, and I'll show you once I've done these, where they go. One there. One there. So on this side I've done just above the hole. You probably can't see it because of the light. The staple's just above the hole on both of those, and it's just inside the hole here. On the opposite end we do a little bit differently, but you'll soon see why. Just hammer those down. Not really going down. Now the opposite side. So I've done them on the inside of the two holes there and there. Hammer them down. So that's our preparation. I've got a basic jig set up here, but I don't really use it anymore. So all I'm doing now is grabbing my wire and running it through the hole underneath that nail there. Doesn't matter which end you start at, so long as you start under one of the nails. And I normally work on the other side of the desk, so I'm going to jump around a bit here. I pull out about an arm's length, so 2 arms lengths out, because that'll cover your holes. Don't need that rubber band there. Some people have special jigs to do this that compress the side of the timber in so that they get a really tight wire. And watch out for what I just did there. See that twist? I don't know if you can see it, but if you get that twist there and you pull it tight, it'll cause your wire to snap, so don't let it kink up like that. I'm rushing it a bit. Okay. If your wire kinks, it weakens it, and you risk, it's the biggest mosquito in the world, you risk the wire snapping later on, and you've got to rewire the whole thing, which is a pain. It means you're doing the work twice, so just take a little bit of time and care. Now, I'm not deliberately hooking that over there, it's just in the way because I'm doing this back to front, how I normally do it. So all I'm doing is threading it zigzag pattern, in and out, in and out. So you can see now why I've wired it this way at the back. So the wire, when I pull it tight, will sit over the top of that. And I'm just about to pull it through the last bit. Just need to stretch that wire out a bit. You notice I haven't put any tension on anything yet. That's because I don't have to do it yet. Wind your wire around 2 or 3 times, preferably 3, that's my number. Could be 2 if you want it to be. Hammer your nail down it so it's flush with the wood, and then you can either do this by hand or with a pair of pliers, but just twist the end bit off. You'll get a nice clean snap from that. Now what I'm going to do is push this end down. You see this is the nail end, I've nailed it in. I'm going to push this end down with my finger, and I'm actually going to get my tension now. Look at that, super tight. I'm just pulling it with my finger, no pliers involved. I haven't got it very tight, you can hear it's loose guitar tight. So what I'm doing every time I pull it, pull and then press down. So that just puts a little kink in it across the ends, and that simply just holds your tension in place. Pretty simple. Okay, so that's that last. So now I'm up to the other end. For this, I am going to put a little bit of tension on the frame, just simply by pushing it against my nails there and squeezing inwards. You can see it's really loosened off in the middle there, but don't worry about that. So now I'm just wrapping the end of the wire around the remaining nail and hammer that down. Not the cleanest nailing in the world. Doing everything backwards. You can hear that humming already. You could, if you wanted to, put the foundation straight onto that. And that'll be sufficient to hold it up. But I like to make it a little bit more tighter. So I've got a little wire crimper. I think I bought it online for $5 from China. These little ends sometimes pop off, but it's been doing well for the last 400 or 500 frames I've done. I'm just simply squeezing it together, and pushing the crimper against it and running it down. And do our guitar test now. All pretty tight. So that's how you wire up a frame. See where we've used it? The wire goes across our staples and that won't pull through the wood. Pretty simple, cheap, effective and quick way of doing it. So the next stage is to put a sheet of wax foundation in, and I'm going to turn my desk around for that so you can see what I'm doing. That way. I like to put my nails on a magnet, it's just an easy way of keeping hold of them. I'll explain all this gear in a second. Get it out. So I like to keep my wax in the paper it came in, and if you've got a box, keep it in that. Just keeping it flat and keeping it cool, it'll last a lot longer. I keep all my wiring gear together, my embedding gear together in one box. I'm sure you'll find your own way of doing it. Okay, so just be careful, these are pretty flexible but they will snap if you don't handle them properly. I broke quite a few before I worked out how to hold them without breaking them. Okay, so what we've got here is I've cut a piece of just, I don't know, old furniture timber, and I've wrapped it with grease-proof baking paper. Sticky taped it on, pretty high-tech stuff. I cut that so it's just a little bit smaller than the size of most frames, and it fits in there. Nothing fancy about that. So that's my baseboard for embedding. So now I'm just going to put the sheets of wax through the wire. So very simply, hold it towards you. Rest it on your chest or on a table. Grab that sheet. You don't have to go through the first one. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm going through the second loop. So now I'm going to pull it over, under, over, under, over. And now it's going behind. So now what I need to do is you can see there's a little track down there on the bottom of the frame. And I'm going to get this wax to sit in that track. Push it right down as far as it'll go. That's it. You'll notice there's gaps all around, probably because my frame's aren't 100% straight. I'm sure I could have done a better job, but that's okay. Or the wax isn't straight. Sometimes it's the wax. I'm not going to get out the measuring tools and check it out, because the bees actually will use these gaps to move through the hive, and quite often they'll chew a hole in it anyway. They'll change it, so that's fine. Now I'm just putting it straight over the board. What I've got in here is just a little 6-volt battery, rechargeable battery, that I pulled out of an old camping lamp that I'm not using anymore. The lamp broke, but the battery's still good, and I've still got the recharging part that came with it, so I can recharge this battery. So it lasts donkey yonks, and it cost me next to nothing because I'm just repurposing some junk. And I've simply put some female electrical clips on the end of the wires and just connect it up to my battery. No great fear of getting electrocuted here. So this is the really easy part. I'm just going to do half of the battery. I'm placing half of the wire, and I'm going to embed now. So I'm going to hold it on one wire and then touch, just for a nanosecond or so, the wire onto the metal. That's it. That was about 1 second, not even that, half a second. It's just embedded in nicely. I'll bring it up to show you. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but that's the embedded section, and that's not embedded. So it's actually sort of halfway through. Can't really see it here, but you can see the bit where it's embedded and not embedded. Now we need to do the other half of it. You just watch it until it just starts to go liquid and then pull it off. If you leave it too long, it'll slice that wax in half. And then you've got to do all sorts of silly tricks to try and fix the wax, like melting wax over it. That's it. That's one side done. Now you've got to flip it over and do the two on the back. Exactly the same way. I'll start with this end. Two. Didn't push that down enough. Okay, that's that one done. 1, 2. Nice, embedded in nicely. So it just melts the wax into it. It's embedding it into the wire, and the wire into the wax. 1, 2. Done. So there you go. That's very simple, cheap, easy wax embedder, and now it's ready to go in. Got any questions? Give me a call. Thanks.